Have you ever been having fun until you weren't? Thankfully nowadays, helmets are all the rage, but we can't always wear a helmet our entire lives everywhere we go, and sometimes some of us experience concussions. You might wonder why a performance expert is talking about concussion. The answer is simple. A concussion is not a done deal. Let me explain. A concussion is an event in which the brain gets bruised. You don't have to lose consciousness to have a concussion. You may not even have any symptoms. All you have to do is hit your head and you can bruise your brain, causing long-term damage. In fact, most people are unaware that even a single concussion at any point in your life dramatically increases your risk of early onset dementia. Many hockey players, football players, boxers, and other athletes who get banged up during their careers often find themselves getting into trouble later on with society because they no longer have full control of their minds. This is not to say that we should not hold them responsible for their actions, but rather to say that we need to pay more attention as a society to the effects of trauma on the brain and the importance of restoring it. That doesn't mean jump right back into the football game. Rather, it means early aerobic activity can help the brain recover faster and has been proven to do so than bed rest, which has for decades been the conventional case by physicians and is still believed to be the appropriate treatment by some. Obviously, the sooner after an injury you start treatment, the better. But the good news is, no matter how long it's been since your concussion, it's not too late, as long as you're not demented, to start treatment, to reduce your risk of dementia down the road. Whenever we suffer an injury of any kind, two things happen. First, the demolition crew has to come in to remove damaged tissue from the area. Secondly, the repair crew has to come in to rebuild what was damaged. The problem that occurs when a person has a traumatic brain injury is that the demolition crew, once it's removed the damaged brain tissue, does not know when to leave. So it keeps destroying healthy brain tissue. Of course, God gave us a lot of neurons, and it's said that we only use a fraction of them. But eventually, we lose enough neurons that we start to forget things and not be able to use the frontal lobe of our brains like we used to, which is important for decision making, discipline, judgment. It breaks my heart to think about how many people are walking around every day blissfully unaware that that concussion they had when they were 25, 18, 2 years old is going to lead to dementia down the road. And that when they do get dementia, then they and their family members are going to be saying, well, just getting older. We've come to associate memory loss with age, but it's not age, it's brain damage. Fortunately, it's not a lost cause. You can restore brain function and shut off that inflammatory fire that is damaging brain cells every minute of every day you're alive after a concussion. We want to send that demolition crew away as quickly as we can so that it stops damaging neurons. And we want to enhance the recovery process, the rebuilding, as quickly as we can and as fully as we can. Fortunately, we have some great tools now for doing that. Many years ago, I wore a full day pack and ran up to the top of Angel's Landing in Zions National Park. By the time I got to the bottom again, my forearms, from being thrust backward and forward that whole hike, were very sore. Since they were still sore a week later, I had my friendly neighborhood thermographer point her thermographic camera at my forearms And this is what we found. Just for context, orange and red are hot. Yellow is very hot. You're looking at serious muscle damage here. I thereupon took my biofeedback device and underwent a short 30-minute session to see what would happen. After that short amount of time, we repeated the thermographic image, and this is what we found. Now that was dramatic. This is one of the tools we use to shut down the inflammation in your brain, just like we shut it down in my forearms. In the case of the brain, we don't just do one 30-minute session, we do a minimum of 6. Or if a person still has any symptoms, like if they have a recent concussion, then we'll do as many sessions as are needed to remove all symptoms. At the same time, you take a program of brain-penetrating anti-inflammatory agents and brain repair and brain-supporting nutrients and peptides. Finally, you undergo microcurrent neurofeedback to stimulate further brain repair. By now, you might be thinking to yourself, Dr. Andrew's nuts. My brain isn't worth all that. Well, that's a decision you have to make. But as for me, I can tell you, when I get old, I want to be riding the Raptor route in Moab with my great-grandkids, not having them visit me in a nursing home. Keep in mind, too, that the investment you make in your brain now is a lot cheaper than forfeiting your or your loved one's life savings to monthly nursing home bills for the rest of your life. What's your brain worth to you?